Hello, 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 and welcome to my Zen Den. I'm so glad that you're here. Happy Friday night. My name is Mandy VanHavermaet, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! From Gray Eagle, Minnesota. And I am here to share kind of a sneaky little stamp set. It's a background stamp in the small, the gel. You know, I'm telling you, I'm having troubles talking every time I talk to you guys anymore. I don't know. Anyhow, from the July to December mini catalog, it is the Snow Crystal stamp. It's a background stamp, and it's kind of sneaky. So I'm going to show you where it's at in the catalog, and I really like this stamp. Number one, I love background stamps. I think that they make just super simple crafting. And number two, it's a winter stamp. It's not necessarily a Christmas stamp, it's a winter stamp. And winter stamps are fantastic. Snow stamps are fantastic because you can use them for more than just Christmas. You can use them for birthdays. You can use them for sympathies. You can use them for weddings. You can use them for Christmas. You can use them for New Year's. It's just endless. Hi, Sonia. Thank you for joining. Lots of different possibilities. So I am going to flip my camera around and we are going to get stamping on some really simple, fun cards. So 1 second here. There we go. All right, so the stamp itself is on page 38 of the July to December mini catalog. So it's right here, and it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of a sleeper. I guess I didn't really notice it right away, but I do really, really like it. Here's the stamp itself. Here it is. Here it is under the ink pad. Here's the stamp itself. I don't, on my big background stamps, I don't put the cling on because it's very hard to get off. And I like it just to be able to place it right on the block like that. If you want to put the cling on, I still have it inside my case. I just choose not to put it on. So now that I've got my case all taken apart, sheesh, there we go. So if I wanted to, I could absolutely put that on, but I just choose not to because it makes removing it easier. So let's get stamping. And what I'm going to do is actually make 4 different cards, 4 of the same cards, but they're going to be different I'm using different colors and different sentiments. But I'm going to create 1 piece of designer series paper using that stamp. So I've got a piece of basic white here, and I've cut 1 inch off of this side and 1 inch off of this side. So it's going to make panels that are 5 by 3.75, 3 3/4. I'm going to make 4 panels, but I'm going to stamp it all at one time. So let's do that. I've got my smoky slate ink pad. And on a background stamp, I like to ink it up this way. Very rarely do I take a background stamp and ink it up this way. I don't ink it up that way. I feel like I have better control to go ahead and ink it up like this. And I'm actually going to be stamping off because I don't want the full smoky slate color through there. So that is one, and I'm just going to keep doing that over and over. So stamp off, and then I like to do this because it gives you a little bit different layout, maybe a different technique, a different look, and it's a really easy way to make your own designer series paper. And if you wanted to do some that were full on color, you very easily could do that. But notice how when I'm stamping off, I don't go back and restamp because I don't want to get, well, I'll show you here. I've got a line now. If you look really close, I've got a line. So if I were to re-stamp that on my paper, that line would show up potentially. And I don't want that to happen. So you could very carefully maybe do this and put a little piece in there, but just make sure you don't put that line on your paper because it will be very noticeable. I hope that made sense. And the other thing I would advise is to make sure you're not making straight lines. So like don't put 3 directly in a row either way, kind of like I did that one there. One last snowflake. Right about there. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to set that guy aside and I'm going to close my ink pad because you know how I feel about that. And I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. And I'm going to cut my paper now at 5. So I've got 2 5-inch pieces. And so I'm going to cut those in half again at 3 3/4. Perfect. So now I've got 4 panels. And if you have one that you don't feel like has enough snowflakes on it or something like that, like, did I just see one? I might put a little bit right there. Just because. And it's going to be a light one right there. I thought that needed a little extra. The rest of them I feel are pretty good. This one's a little open, but that's okay. They're all going to look a little bit different. Okay, so now here's my plan. I am going to make 4 different cards with 4 different sentiments, and I'm going to be using different colors. So I've got a piece of Fresh Freesia, a piece of Cherry Cobbler, Starry Sky, and Soft Succulent. Okay, so we're going to fold and burnish all of those. We can get rid of this piece of paper there because it's very messy. So just go ahead and fold and burnish them. And these are very different colors, but I just want to show how you can use this stamp for different occasions. And you can make a lot. This is going to go pretty quick. I'm excited to show you. Okay, so first things first, I am going to do my first card. I've got the Very Best Occasion stamp set, and I'm going to be using my Starry Sky piece. And on my Starry Sky, I'm going to be making a happy birthday card. So I'm going to be using the happy birthday stamp and sending smiles for every moment of your special day. Really, really, really like this stamp set. This is also in the July to December mini catalog. The Snow Crystal is not retiring. I don't remember if this one is. I do believe this one's retiring. So if you want that stamp set, you better get it soon because it's going away. So, okay. And then I've also got my double oval punch that I'll be using and a scrap of Starry Sky as well. And my Starry Sky ink. So, let's stamp happy birthday right there. And then I've got some panels also, just some small basic white panels for the insides of my cards. Sending you smiles for every moment of your special day. Okay, done with the Starry Sky ink. So let's take our double oval punch. We're going to punch out that happy birthday. And the double oval punch works really well with that Very Best Occasion stamp set. You're going to see me use this a couple times tonight. So, okay. Now I am going to bring in, this is the glittered organdy ribbon. I'm going to tie a bow, not a bow, a knot, on my piece of basic white. And all of the cards I'm making tonight are going to be the same, but you're going to be floored at how different they look. Just changing up the colors. I love this organdy ribbon. It's super pretty, super sparkly, super wintry. And let's just flatten that out a little bit. Oh, oh, I guess I got a small piece of that. Don't worry, I got more. So we'll trim that up. And then a trick I like to do is to take a piece of, I've got double-sided tape, but Scotch tape would work just as well. And I just like to tape that down in the back so it doesn't slide around. That's going to kind of stabilize my ribbon if that's a thing. So let's adhere this down. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love the Starry Sky with that gray. Oh, so pretty. I forgot to do the big oval out of my scrap of Starry Sky, so let's do that. Going to adhere my happy birthday down directly onto the blue oval. And then we've got some dimensionals. Put a couple of those. Bump that guy up. That is a very cool winter birthday card. And this could go for guys or girls. It easily could go for either. But I love winter birthday cards. I have a summer birthday, but I love winter birthday cards. So that's card number 1. I'm going to, on my sample, I used, on all of my samples that I did before, I used the iridescent pearls basic jewels. Which are very pretty, and I didn't stamp off all of my ink. This time I'm going to use the basic rhinestones because I want to change it up. I want to show that you can use lots of different things. And check this out. Did you know you could color those with your blends? You totally could. So I could put, technically I could have put those rhinestones on. I think those actually are Starry Sky. So that is cards number 1. Let's go on to card number 2. Let's see here. We're going to do the soft succulent. Same stamp set. I'm using the Very Best Occasions. This time I'm using Thinking of You on the outside and With Comfort and Love on the inside. So here again, let's stamp. Let's stamp Thinking of You, just like that. And I'll grab one of my insides while I've got my ink opened up. With Comfort and Love. So a beautiful sympathy card. And now I'm done with my soft succulent ink. Let's get rid of that. And I'm going to punch that out. Here again, look how perfect that fits in there. I love this punch. I love this punch. I love this stamp set. Got a scrap. Here's my scrap of soft succulent. All right, so now I'm done with this punch for tonight. I'm going to move on to a different tool. Let's put these things together. And I absolutely could use that glittered organdy ribbon, but I decided I'm going to use the open weave ribbon, the soft succulent. So same thing. I'm going to tie it on this side because this side's a little emptier. This side's got more snowflakes. So let's tie it on this side. I tend to tie a lot of knots rather than bows. You could definitely tie a bow if you wanted to. I find that knots use less ribbon, number 1. Number 2, they're easier. That's a big thing for me. And number 3, they're more malleable. Sometimes our bows get so thick. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong, and sometimes the extra postage is great, but I just am conscious of that when I'm creating cards. So I make a lot of knots. There we go. No, we don't. There we go. Whew, that was tough. Okay, so I'll set that aside. So let's go ahead and build our card. Simple, right? I mean, you guys are getting the gist of it. Oh, let's tape that down. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm telling you, I have not found a bad color combination. Anything that goes good with gray will go good with this card. So let's take our dimensionals. This is a great stamp, this background stamp, because especially in the northern hemispheres, right, up here in Minnesota, we have a lot of snow, and we need cards that have a lot of snow. So I've got my, and I tend to put one jewel right in the middle. I've almost got a big snowflake everywhere on each one of the cards. I lost my adhesive on that one. Where'd it go? Nope, it's not there. Let's try for a new one. I don't know where it went. Okay. I like to put one in the middle. You don't have to. I just like to. So there is my second card. Let's put our inside in. So a beautiful sympathy card. Again, that stamp set was the very best occasions. So awesome stamp set as well. All right, so let's move on to card number 3. I'm going to change it up just a little bit. Instead of using the very best occasions, I'm using the Brightest Glow stamp set. I'm going to be making a New Year's card and a Christmas card. So let's start out with, I've got Fresh Freesia. Here's my, there it is. Got my Fresh Freesia base. And I've got, 2 card bases left. So let's build it up, right? I'm going to go ahead and just, with the Brightest Glow stamp set, these are the really, I mean, they're the coolest dies in the world, right? These are the dies that come with it. I'm going to be using this small die for both cards because I like to keep, I'm keeping it little, right? So I'm just going to pull my stamp, my Cut and Emboss Mini. Stay tuned for some really special stuff coming with this mini. Just saying, it's a little bit of a teaser, but you are going to want to stay tuned. So with the mini, it's also got instructions somebody cut on my block, my pad here, but it still works. So we're going to put the cutting edge down, and it tells us how to do a cutting sandwich. So we just need plates 1 and 2 of plate 2. So I've got my plate 1. I like to use the same plate on the bottom so it cuts. So I put my paper in. I'm going to put my die in, and I'm going to put my top plate on. The mini is exactly what it says it is. It is a mini cut and emboss machine, and it is so handy. Isn't that pretty? That is such a pretty die. Got a couple little circles in there. Such a pretty die. I love that die. So let's cut another one. Same thing. Put it together. There we go. All right. And there we are. Not a very intricate die. If there was a lot of little pieces, I would probably use, I know I would use a brush to get those little pieces out, but there's only a couple, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. So I can set that aside. Set that aside. Okay, so I've got my Fresh Freesia, and this is going to be my New Year's card. So in the Brightest Glow stamp set, lots and lots of greetings. Happy New Year is one of them. I'm going to use the sentiment on the inside that says, may the peace of the season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest. So, nobody says you can't mail out New Year's cards. They're pretty fantastic. So we're going to stamp, and normally I stamp first and cut later, but I'm being a little bit of a rebel tonight. I find this is such a nice big curly Q stamp that I struggle cutting it out after I've stamped it. It just looks weird. So I've had better luck stamping after I cut. All right, let's build her up. Just like on the soft succulent card, I'm going to be using the open weave ribbon in Fresh Freesia. And I love purple winter cards. I think purple is a perfect color for winter. I think it's right there with blue and it feels cool and I love it. A little bit longer tail here. And you could make a lot of these cards in a short amount of time, right? If you weren't changing up the colors and things like that, especially, you really could make a lot of these cards. So, simple. That's why I love background stamps. They're generally very, very simple. That's not even. And now it's not cutting. Ooh! There we go. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So if you notice now my purple is kind of loose. I have a trick for that. You've got your double-sided tape or your Scotch tape, whichever you're going to use. Nobody's ever going to look at the back of your cards, guys. I promise. And if they do, it's because they're trying to learn how to make it, because they think it's cool. So if they do look at the back of your card, take it as a compliment. There we go. See, don't worry about that. It's pretty in the front. You will find a lot of my cards have this kind of stuff on the back, in the back. I'm not perfect. So, just kind of a trick. Let's put that down, make sure our card opens right. It does. All right, and now I'm not going to mat this. It's going to be white on white. If you wanted to, you could definitely take a sponge dauber and go around the outside of this so that it stands out a little bit. I don't feel like I need to. Work with me. There we go. Okay. Happy New Year. So pretty. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Oh, guys, so pretty. Let's bling it up a little bit. I think I'm going to put one on there because it needed it on there. Oh, love that. Put our insides in. So there is card number 3, a New Year card. Love it. Okay, so that means our last one is going to be a Christmas card. Same stamp set. I'm using this Brightest Glow stamp set. I'm going to be using 'Tis the Season as the outside sentiment. On the inside, I'm putting Hope Your Christmas Shines Bright with the Love of Family and Friends. And I'm using Cherry Cobbler. So, look at that. I didn't even lose it. Oh, it's amazing. It's a stamping miracle. Okay. 'Tis the Season. Let's put it right there. Just like that. Perfect. And now, Hoping Your Christmas Shines Bright with the Love of Family and Friends. Perfect. I think Cherry Cobbler is my favorite red. It's, you know, you're not supposed to have favorite children, but I love Cherry Cobbler. It is like such a beautiful color. It's so pretty and rich, and I just love it. Okay, we're going to use this organdy ribbon again, and I've got just enough. Look at that. We're going to tie that knot There again, it's a little on the loose side. I might have to be doing some adjustments on the back side. We'll take a peek here in just a second. Snip that off. Snip that off. Yeah, I better. Okay, so here's my double-sided tape. Just like that. And you can't really see it, but there's like a little fold right there. So it tightened up my bow. It's not gonna move, it's not coming off. I'm a happy girl, and nobody will know. Nobody's gonna know. Okay, so let's put that on right there. Isn't that gorgeous? It's gorgeous, if I do say so myself. Let's put our inside in. Just like that. And our sentiment. Did you just see me flick that dimensional backing? Flicked it right away. Okay, 'tis the season. Drop it right on there. Perfect. Put a little bling on. The possibilities truly are endless. If you wanted a thinking, just a blank note card, you could do this and not have any sentiment on there and just send a winter note card. That would be awesome. All right. So there we go with our 3 different note cards that all came from that one piece of paper. And I just got a big red schmuck on my hand. Isn't that, I'm just so happy. It makes me so happy. I just love them. So I'm going to flip the camera around and talk a little bit about, I want to tell you about December 4th. December 4th, we're having in Gray Eagle at the Catholic Church. A group of us stampers are getting together to do a fundraiser for a couple of local charities, Project Give a Gift out of the Melrose area and Empty Stocking out of the Gray Eagle area. There's a couple different ways that you can donate. You can donate directly to the organizations, and those funds all stay right in our local area. Otherwise, you can come and craft with us on December 4th, which is a Sunday from 1 to 4 at the Catholic Church in Gray Eagle. If you can donate there. We're going to have a lot of different kinds of projects to make. It's going to be so much fun. This is, I think, the 4th year we've done this. So you can purchase and we will donate a portion of your purchase to those programs, or you can make a donation directly. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you get some crafting in. I hope you get some good family time in. I hope you get your Christmas tree up if that's what you're doing. That's what I'll be doing. My Christmas tree is up. It's just not decorated yet. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be going to a craft fair with my sister, so I'm excited about that. Just lots of good holiday fun this weekend. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.